The Blue Jays get absolutely no offense today in the finale of the mini two-game series against the San Francisco Giants, and get swept in the mini two-game set, of course. Not a very good game for the Blue Jays. Clay Buchholz had a good first few innings, but then in the fourth inning and then in the fifth inning, he looked kind of rough there, and it all kind of fell apart there in the sixth. He was all right, like I said, early on in the game, he was throwing quality strikes, he was getting a lot of soft contact, but as the innings went along, the ball got up a little bit, and he was getting hit hard. And for Clay Buchholz, obviously, with not the velocity as he once had, he's got to find a way to throw quality strikes. And he was early on in the ball game, but as the game went along, like I said, the ball ended up in the zone. When you're not throwing hard, you can't live there, and he got crushed. But the Blue Jays didn't help him out any. They had 2 hits in the ball game, and after the Jays had 9 hits yesterday and had a crazy good road trip, you get nothing. You get 0 runs on 2 hits. Drew Pomeranz was great in his outing. What did he go? He went 6 shutout innings, gave up 2 hits, walked 2 batters. No problem there. He was fantastic. Now, if we're trying to take positives out of a loss, okay? Elvis Luciano, the Rule 5 pick, goes a scoreless inning in the 9th. He does walk 2 batters, but he does get out of the inning scoreless, dropping his ERA to 4.66. Not bad. Ryan Tepera throws a clean inning of work, walks a batter. No problem. The Jays, though, they walk 5 guys in the ball game. Buchholz doesn't walk anybody, but you get Tim Mayza walking 2, Tepera walking 1, and Luciano walking 2. That's never a good thing. And Tim Mayza threw an inning in 2/3, but ideally 2 of the 4 runs that were earned to Clay Buchholz were inherited runners from Tim Mayza. So, you could arguably say, he did a pretty good job, walked a couple, gave up a hit, and inning in 2/3, no runs, that's good stuff. Yeah, but the way he came into the game and kind of, I guess, allowed them to expand their lead and gave them 2 more runs, it's not too fun. The only 2 hits in the ball game were an Eric Sogard hit and a Teoscar Hernandez hit, and Hernandez's hit, he ran into an out. We have learned now with Teoscar Hernandez, and I gotta say, guys, you know what? With the bat, I think he's improving. The reason I say that, yes, he struck out once today, but the strikeout numbers, he's less than a strikeout per game to start the year. Last year, you got to remember, he was way over a strikeout per game, so you want to say it's down a little bit, and he just looks a little bit more comfortable at the plate, you know what I mean? But the problem is this. He hits the base hit, but there was no sense in his mind when he made contact, I'm turning this into 2. He probably thought single, and then halfway up the baseline, he's thinking, now I'm going to try for 2. You don't do that. Because you're going to get thrown out 80% of the time. Meanwhile, Rowdy Tellez is boogieing to third base on the play with only 1 out. So and he ends up getting thrown out at second base. But imagine if he didn't go to second, you runners in the corners with 1 away in a 2-1 ball game. Tying runs at first. You never know. Or if he busted out of the box right away, he could have made it to second base. And you have the tying run in scoring position with less than 2 out. Could have changed the entire complexity of the game, but instead, he gets thrown out. There's 2 out. Jansen strikes out to end the inning. And you get nothing. Base running is very, very important. And we've seen Hernandez kind of get a little lazy when it comes to that. We saw in, I think it was Minnesota, just walks off the bases assuming it's ball 4, and he gets thrown out. Not very smart. Today, again, doesn't bust out of the box, tries to go for 2, gets thrown out at second. In a pretty big situation. It's that kind of stuff that is a real issue. By the way, Freddie Galvis' streak of 360-something odd games in a row is over. He doesn't play today. He doesn't come in for a pinch hit at bat. He doesn't come in to play in the field at all. It's over. And I think the reason being is because clearly the hamstring is not right. So you're not just going to throw him out there just to keep a streak alive. Because what if he goes out there, hits a ball, runs, and then tears something, right? Because it's already pulled, it's already tight, and you don't want to pull anything more. You don't want to make it worse just to keep a streak alive. Because if it's serious enough to keep him out of the game and end the streak, you're not going to kill the guy. So for Freddie Galvis, it sucks. But in the end, I don't think it really matters to him. Because all it is playing. Look, health-wise, yeah, of course. It's really important to stay healthy in baseball, especially 162 games in a season. But I don't think it was 300 and something. It might not have been 300. It might have been 100. Anyways, you guys can tell me the exact number of games in a row Freddie Galvis has played before tonight's game. This afternoon's game. But for the Blue Jays, look, you look at this game and you say, you know what? There's not many positives. Richard Urena made a really nice play on defense. I think it was in like the 6th or 7th inning. Great. It was an amazing play. Got an off-balance throw, and on the bounce, great pick from Rowdy Tellez. He's looking really good at first base. He's kind of learning from Justin Smoke from the picks perspective. You saw it there today. He had a few really, really nice picks out of the dirt, was Rowdy Tellez. But in games like this, where you only get 2 hits and no offense, Blue Jays fans, including myself, turn to Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and say, okay, the offense ain't doing too well. This is the opportunity to give the guy the call. Now, ideally, I mean, he's not going to come in and be the savior and score 10 runs a game, but we want to see some Vladimir Guerrero Jr. people. And hey, let's talk about the prospects, because you know what, in a game like this where it wasn't good, you want to talk some positive stuff, right? So yes, Vladdy had a great game today, hit another absolute moonshot, a laser beam, opposite field to the gap, and I think in that field it kind of does one of those, and he hit it to the core. Oh, he absolutely obliterated the ball, did Vladdy. I think he went 2 for 5 or 3 for 5. He's hitting like 380 something there in AAA since he's come back from the injury. Great to see. About time, come on, let's go. And a guy to keep an eye on, Cavan Biggio. I mean, what a start this guy has had to the season. With Bo Bichette going down, Jays fans need to find positives. And with Vladdy coming to the Blue Jays right around the corner, may even be for this series this weekend, because they want to fire up the crowd and get some people in the stands. So bringing Vladdy in for a home series? Heck yeah! But with Cavan Biggio hitting .419 this year in AAA, on base percentage of .500, and he has walked as many times as he has struck out. If I'm not mistaken, that's pretty damn good. Biggio has looked fantastic in AAA. Guerrero has looked really good in AAA. Now we start to think, okay, well, do you bring Biggio up and start the clock on him, or do you? Because he's only the bit that he's had in AAA. He played AA last year, so this little stretch he's on right now, you don't want to give him a call yet, I don't think, because you want him to continue to succeed by the All-Star break, maybe a little bit before then give him the call and let him play the rest of the... Like, kind of what they did with Ryan Baracki, right? You want to see a little bit of that kind of stuff this year by the Blue Jays. Now, with Bo Bichette, I don't even know if he'll touch the big league this year. I really don't. With this injury and it being out at least 6 weeks, it's going to be tough. Now, all we have to say is safe recovery for Bo. Hopefully he comes back and better than ever. And hopefully he'll be on this team very, very soon. He could be a September call-up for all we know. Right? But for Blue Jays fans, you got to take positives. And my boy, in AA New Hampshire, Yennsy Diaz. All right? He's 21 years old or 22 years old. They're in AA. And he has a 3.08 ERA. And I think it was in 3 or 4 starts. He's pitching pretty damn good. He's coming, people. So is Nate Pearson. He's pitching really well in Dunedin. He'll be in AA very, very shortly. Jays fans, the prospects are coming. Keep your head up. This game sucked today, but you're going to have stinkers like this. And the Blue Jays welcoming the Oakland A's for a 3-game set. And for Jays fans, for the Jays, you say, right on. It's a team you just swept a couple days ago. Right, Mike Fiers and Marcus Stroman are the starters in Game 1 on Friday night. The Jays have an off day tomorrow. Game 2 on Saturday, Brett Anderson versus Aaron Sanchez. Both guys left the game in their last start, so who knows if both of the guys will be pitching on Saturday. But as of right now, 3:07 first pitch at Rogers Center for Game 2 of that series. Game 3 goes at 1 o'clock on Sunday. Trent Thorne on the mound for the Blue Jays, looking for a good, trying to throw a good outing. His last, 3 outings has not been very good. Chris Bassett on the mound for the Oakland A's in the Sunday afternoon affair. So that's the next series for the Blue Jays. They have a day off on Monday. They have a series, day off, series, day off, series, day off. Now, ideally, they had a long start to the season, but to see the Blue Jays getting some off days. It's kind of needed with the nagging injuries that are happening right now. Guys like Aaron Sanchez, I don't know any updates on Ryan Baracki, but seeing Freddie Galvis with a nagging injury right now, you kind of want to see these guys take a little bit of a break and have some days off in here and there, and they do tomorrow before they play on Friday. All right, against the Oakland Athletics. So, you know what, guys? That is going to do it for this one. You guys enjoy this video, and you guys are jacked up for Biggio, Bichette, my boy, Yenzi Diaz. Smack that like button. I do appreciate that. Hit the subscribe button if you guys have not already. Comment down below your guys' thoughts on the video, the game. Who'd you like in the game today? I mean, if there's anybody really. Also, your thoughts on calling up Vladimir Guerrero. When the heck that's going to happen? I'm hoping it's soon, but what are your guys' thoughts on that? When do you think they will? Do they have a series against the Yankees coming up that I think would be a great idea? They're in LA after the Oakland series, in Texas, home for Minnesota. So you won't, if they're playing it like they want to bring him in for a big series, you don't play the Yankees or the Red Sox barely at all. My goodness. Yeah, I don't see anything. All right, so so bottom line, I think this weekend should be the time to see a Vladimir Guerrero Jr. call up, but we're not the managers. We don't get to choose, all right? So I want to hear your guys' thoughts on all that stuff. And Evan and I will talk to you guys podcast edition tomorrow afternoon. Link is in the description for the podcast channel and for the podcast itself on iTunes. Guys, check out Mo Buckets on Twitter. Go check out Blue Jays Wave on Instagram, the most followed Instagram Blue Jays fan page on Instagram. 58.1 thousand followers on Instagram, guys. Go check that out, please. Very great guy. Very good content. And very quick and concise content. Love it. Love it. Simple, but really effective. And I love what he does there on Blue Jays Wave on Instagram. Guys, Twitter is also down below. Follow up. Send me a DM. Do all that great stuff. And I'll talk to you guys Raptors edition whenever we figure out the schedule for the series against the 76ers. We'll talk to you guys a day or two prior to Game 1 of that series starting up. And as for the Toronto Blue Jays, like we've talked about, their next game is on Friday as they open up a 3-game set against the Oakland A's at Rogers Center. The Jays just swept the Oakland A's, as we talked about, so they look to kind of continue that winning ways against the A's. Marcus Stroman, Mike Fiers, these starters in Friday night's affair. 7:07 first pitch at Rogers Center. Thank you guys so much for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you guys then.